everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We're so excited today. We are here to do our Summer Nights preview. This is so exciting. It's basically an August preview that we're doing. And we'll talk a little bit more about how that all got extremely complicated because of Hallmark shenanigans this last week or so. But we're pressing forward. It's going to be fun. And I'm Rachel, and I'm so excited about the guests that we have today. I'm so excited to have Loree Stark back on the show. This is her second time being here. She is the host of A Very Hallmark Christmas. And Loree, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And then we also have our very good friend co-host Georgia is here.
Hi, everybody.
Yes. So, Loree,
Yes.
you have had a bit of a break from Hallmark. Have you been able to dabble in any Christmas in July?
I have not, I have to tell you. So I was, our podcast, A Very Hallmark Christmas, that I do with my husband, we have traditionally done all of the Hallmark Christmas movies as they air. And last year we did our level best to keep up with the ones during the year, but it really broke us. I'll be entirely honest. It just broke us. And this year we were like, we're not going to do it except in the event of if a Wedding March movie comes back.
Yeah.
And I know that a Wedding March movie has come back. We haven't watched it yet, but I am intending to watch it because of all of the sort of like Hallmark franchises, I guess, like that is the one that I think that we have just legitimately enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's been a complete Hallmark break this year.
Well, hopefully we can get you back, even if it's just on our podcast coming up this, because it's gonna take a village to cover Christmas. It's gonna,
yes,
it's not gonna be.
It certainly is.
We're all gonna have to band together. We're gonna have good fun. So, well, thanks so much for coming and talking about these Summer Nights movies, and maybe if you end up getting to watch any of them, you'll have to post on Twitter or whatever your thoughts, and that would be really fun.
Yeah.
So, Georgia, what have your thoughts been about the Summer Nights season as a whole? Typically, is it a favorite of yours, or?
Honestly, yeah. It's like the last half of the year. I'm usually no, because I love Winterfest too.
Yeah.
A lot of the time I'm not, just because I don't like spring as much. It's not really my thing, so I'm not as into it. But the summer movies every time. Oh, and the Valentine's Day ones. But there's always one that I'm like, this is one of my new favorite movies.
Yeah.
And then the fall movies just bring it. Like it just gets better throughout the year to me. But then I love Hallmark in general, I guess. So yeah, I love Summer Nights. It's just fun. It's a good fit. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And I have a bit of nostalgia, I think, for Summer Nights because it was the first full season that we covered on the podcast. So our very first episode as the Hallmarkies podcast was the Summer Nights episode.
Oh, do you know which?
2017. So that's where you got to hear how bored I was by all the wine talk in Summer in the Vineyard.
Oh, no, not Summer in the Vineyard, Rachel.
That's just... yeah,
oh, no.
I don't like the wine movies, Loree, very much. Maybe I just don't drink wine, so when they're all worried, is the wine turned? Is it wine? It's a tough sell for me. Last year, it was like their big Summer Nights was their big travel narrative series, whatever. Yeah, because they had the Africa movie, they had the my brain. Where else did they? Fiji. They had the 2 Fiji movies, and then one in Texas. Well, kind of in Texas. And so that was pretty fun. So yeah, it's been a pretty good season, I feel like, with Summer Nights. This year, a little backstory behind the scenes of the podcast. So we had a plan to do the preview this week, and we were planning on covering the preview show and talking about the clips and other stuff like we normally do. But then we were presented with a problem when all of a sudden, out of the blue, Hallmark moved the air date of the preview special to this upcoming Sunday. after Roman Love airs. And it's ridiculous. Like, why would you have a preview? I mean, I assume that the point of a preview show is to get people excited to watch the stuff that's being previewed, correct?
I think that's a fair assessment, yes.
Right? Am I crazy, Georgia?
No, I mean, that's the whole point of it. Like, at the very least, just put it on YouTube or something. Like,
and what is this? It's like a half hour of programming?
Yeah. It's usually
how
not
difficult
long.
is that to like slot in?
And so they decide to air the preview show after the first movie, Roman Love, airs on Saturday, which makes no sense. And the only reason that I can imagine that they would do this is because they didn't have the clips ready for the last movie, My One and Only, with Pascal Hutton and Sam Page, who are fan favorites.
Yes.
But I still don't think that's a good enough reason for completely giving a movie that looks pretty good the shaft in your previous show. Like, I would rather just have pictures of Pascal and Sam or something like that. Than to worry about the clips. So or have a live interview with them or something. I mean, come on. It was bonkers, and it was very frustrating for me. Trying to figure out what to do. I don't know what to do. I still don't know if we made the right choice, but we made our choice because I wanted to. I figured if Hallmark wasn't going to preview Roman Love, we would preview Roman Love. We would give it its fair share.
We can do it.
Yes. So, because we've interviewed the writer Topher Payne, he's awesome. We love him, and so I felt like I'm gonna give the preview that Hallmark isn't, and it's pretty fun. But
let's do it.
Yes. So we always have our crazy rating systems, our weird rating systems that we do for these previews. And this season, what we decided is for the highest, we'll give an ice cream sundae. That's like peak ice cream, really. And then, then we have frozen yogurt, and then a popsicle, and then a toppled cone. That's the biggest, saddest story of all. And we are going to talk about the mysteries that are going to be airing as well. There's going to be, we're actually, Lisa and some of our other co-hosts are working on trying to do an Aurora Tea Garden episode, because we've actually never covered any of them before. Anyway, so that may be coming. So maybe double dipping in our Aurora coverage. But hey, you never have too much Candace Cameron Bure, right? So.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So here we go. So it's going to be very fun. All right.
Let's do it.
Okay. So the first one, Roman Love, and this stars Italia Ricci, Peter Porte, and Vincent Riata. And this airs on the 27th, this upcoming Saturday. And it is written by Topher Payne, directed by Eric Bross. And the story is a completely unknown actress is plucked from obscurity in Bend, Oregon, and flown to the Eternal City to star in a remake of Roman Holiday. And life imitates art when romance blossoms between her and the writer assigned by an Italian magazine to introduce her to the world.
Ooh.
Yes.
Can I quickly say, so I find, so you guys have interviewed Topher Payne before, is that correct?
Yes, that's
so. He and I connected on Twitter after the film A Gift to Remember aired.
Yes.
And he had listened to our podcast, which I believe also, the movie also starred Peter Porte or Peter Port or however you say it. He was delightful to talk to. And so I am very much looking forward to the film, because I found A Gift to Remember, like, the premise being really bananas, but somehow it being completely sold by the writing. So I'm interested in seeing sort of another premise where I'm like, oh, what can you do with this? But thinking that it being in Topher Payne's hand that it'll probably be pretty great.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Georgia?
Well, I typically like the ones where the premise is just so ridiculous because usually that makes the writing a lot more grounded, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christmas and Homestead is not at all realistic, but you watch it and it's like it feels really real because of, the premise itself is so sort of silly.
Yeah.
We love Roman Holiday. Italia Ricci's great. It's nothing personal, but I'm not like the biggest Peter Porte fan, but that's like my issue. And obviously Rome, where's a complaint there. So I'm honestly pretty excited for it. When I heard the premise originally, I was like, this is going to be the best thing ever. Oh man. And I'm still pretty excited for it. So that's good after seeing clips.
Yeah. And I had to say that like the Italian magazine aspect is pretty exciting because I feel like anytime they sort of introduce print journalism, particularly magazine print journalism, into the Hallmark world, like it is fun and it is glamorous and it's sort of like it just always adds like a level of sort of intrigue that you might not be expecting otherwise.
Yeah, and it's nice that in a rom-com, it's the guy who's supportive this time, because so much of the time it's the woman who's working for the magazine, and it's nice that it's the guy. I think good.
So I must admit, I am completely unfamiliar with Italia Ricci. What have you seen her in, Georgia?
She was on that Chasing Life show. It was on, well, what's now Freeform. I believe it was ABC Family at the time, and I've seen her in other things. I've seen her around. She's married to that, Robbie Amell, I believe.
Yeah, Robbie Amell. Yeah.
And I've known who she is, so I've followed her on social media and stuff. And she's just like, she's really cute and she's very nice. And I like that her name's Italia and she's in an Italian movie. But Chasing Life was a big show, and everybody was really sad when it got canceled. So I'm glad that she's doing something that's like, this is a big movie, I feel like. So I'm excited for her. I think it'll be nice to have her on Hallmark.
Yeah, and I love Roman Holiday. Are you guys big on Roman Holiday?
Of course.
I regret to inform everyone that I have not seen Roman Holiday.
You haven't seen it?
No, I'm aware of it in the lexicon. I understand that it's a movie that exists that lots of people are fond of, but I have not seen it. Is that I'll feel super dumb if I'm wrong, but is Audrey Hepburn in that?
Yes, she won an Oscar for it.
Woo!
And come on, Gregory Peck. Like you can't beat Gregory Peck. Oh.
I've heard of that guy too. So.
You've heard of him. Oh.
So if you want to keep your rom-com card, your membership in the club, Loree, you need to watch Roman Holiday.
I'm coming here with all the honesty that I feel is required of me.
We all have those movies.
Sure.
That is true. It's a really good movie because it really focuses on its characters and there's like a gimmick, but I don't know, it really develops the two leads, particularly the two lead characters, very well.
So do you think, though, and I know we have so many movies together, but I want to ask quickly, like, when we're talking about Roman Holiday, do you think they're going to take this approach here like the Hallmark movies do with Pride and Prejudice, which is like, we just kind of randomly assign names to the characters?
Well, like, this isn't a remake. This is,
right.
I mean, the girl is it's a little more meta than that because the girl is cast in a remake.
Sure.
Of Roman Holiday, and so she has has the Roman Holiday experience while.
So there's a legit tie-in here, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because,
But you can't do not to spoil it for you, Loree, but you can't do a full remake in order for it to remain Hallmark appropriate.
Oh.
Not like appropriate, but like the way it would have to, the way the story is gonna go, it can't be true to the original.
Yeah, there's a few things.
Can I just say, wow, spoilers for Roman Holiday?
I'm saying that the ending, the way the story unfolds, it has to be different for it to be a Hallmark movie.
Well, more than just
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
More than just the ending, but no spoilers. But anyway, yeah, it is kind of meta, and so I think we're gonna get like maybe some quotes from. You might want to watch Roman
Holiday.
You should watch Roman Holiday anyway.
That's fair. That's fair.
Although it's fun to watch this first and then watch Roman Holiday and see,
Yeah.
Sure.
That would be fun. Yeah, and I actually enjoy Peter Porte. I think he is extremely handsome.
He is. He is classically handsome. He is.
And I've liked all his let's see, he's done he did The Gift to Remember.
Yep.
And then he did The Love of the Shore.
Mm-hmm.
And
Love Once and Always.
Which one?
Love Once and Always.
I'm trying to remember that one.
Exactly.
He's a great Hallmark lead. Like I loved him.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's just like the two leads in A Gift to Remember, and also the writing, where like it somehow came together in a sense where like I would have hated everyone otherwise, but I was like, oh, they have like really good chemistry, and the writing is kind of fun.
Love Once and Always was so disappointing. I forgot. I brushed it from my mind. That movie was terrible.
It hurts, Rachel. It hurts because I had such high hopes for it, and it just, oh god.
Anyway, with this Roman Love, I think that the trailers that we have gotten, the previews have looked really sweet and fun, and escapist, and I feel like Italia Ricci and Peter Porte will have nice chemistry. So
I hope they let Peter Porte be funny for once. I'd like to see him be funny.
Yeah.
So I follow him on Instagram, or I have. I've not been on Instagram in a while, and he seems like he is like legit a fun and funny guy.
Yeah.
So I feel like he has the range, but he is just so classically handsome and such a like good Hallmark lead. I don't know that they've really like given him or offered him the range for that.
Yeah, and it seems so unfair because it's like that Aaron O'Connell one who's in 12 Gifts of Christmas, which is on right now, My Christmas Love. He's handsome, so they don't usually let him be funny. He's usually some stuffy old business guy, and he's so funny when he's allowed to be. So I hope that Peter Porte is allowed to be funny in this movie, and then I'll be happy because he deserves better to me.
Well, I mean, it's a little unfair because The Gift to Remember, he was in the coma.
He was in the coma.
But Love at the Shore, he had a few moments that were a little like the banter back and forth. But anyway, I believe in Topher that this is going to be like it sounds meta. It sounds really fun and clever, and I think it's well cast. I mean, it's interesting because Italia. I mean, I guess she is Italian, but she's from Canada. So, but she's living in Oregon in the movie. So I guess that'll all make sense somehow.
Sure.
But anyway, so I'm excited for this. I think it'll be nice and escapism, and I would bet money that this will be 1 billion times better than Lacey Chabert Christmas movie in Rome.
Stop.
That's
we don't
fair.
Do this again.
You're really pumped for that one?
No, I'm not. I'm pumped because it looks so bad, but like I don't want to say it.
Yeah. That's right. You were on the Christmas preview. Yeah. It looks not great. So I think this will be our Rome movie that we'll remember with fondness.
Yes.
So, Loree, on our scale, what would you give Roman Love?
Gosh, so what is the thing after the full ice cream cone?
It's ice cream sundae and then frozen
Ice cream
yogurt.
sundae. I'll give it a frozen yogurt, but can I add some delightful toppings?
Okay, good.
So I'll say it's frozen yogurt, but like it's probably got some really good stuff on top of it that would like, maybe make it close to comparable to an ice cream sundae. I feel like I'm making this a lot more complicated than it should
No,
be.
we always do that too.
Yeah, but like I feel like I'm very excited about it, but also there are some possible pitfalls to occur, and I don't want to. It's the first movie out. I don't want to like overshoot. I don't want to overshoot with the ice cream sundae.
Yeah, you'd just be giving ice cream sundaes to everybody.
Right.
Georgia, what about you? What are you going to give it?
To be honest, that Loree, your assessment is probably what I'll end up with, where it's frozen yogurt with some goodness on top. But I'm being optimistic here because the writing's going to be great. We already know.
Yeah.
The setting's beautiful. So I'm just doing ice cream sundae because I want it to be that good. I think it can be that good.
Yeah.
So let's hope.
I am going to also give it an ice cream sundae, and I'm gonna just to be in character, I'm gonna make it a gelato ice cream sundae, and it will be amazing.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, and I've been to Rome, so I will know what's going on. So, okay, next we have Love and Sunshine.
Yep.
And this stars Danica McKellar and Mark Declan. Of course, Danica has been amazing in so many of these films.
Sure.
And then Mark Declan, he really did a great job in the Christmas in Evergreen sequel last year. I thought he was really good. And even though I didn't love Switched for Christmas, I thought that he was handsome.
Yeah.
He did a good job being handsome.
Sure.
Way to go. but yeah, and so this is on the 3rd, and this is directed by Ellie Canner, and she has been on the podcast, and it was one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. So maybe I'm a little biased. It was amazing because she worked as a casting director for years before she started becoming a director. So on the interview, she is telling all these stories about how she cast Sex and the City and how she cast Friends. She was there in the room when they cast Courtney Cox as Monica. It was amazing. I was like,
that's bananas.
Yeah, and she did Love on the Menu this year, which was really good. And it was a little bit different the way it was filmed, and it was a little I don't know, just a little bit more creative, and so this has 2 writers on it, Bart Baker and Glenn Rabney, so the names, and so there you go. And then so here's a little summary. We have Allie's grown fond of sunshine. Sorry. Okay. Allie has grown fond of Sunshine, the retired service dog she's been fostering. And now Jake is back from Afghanistan, eager to reunite with his beloved golden retriever. Taking Sunshine on a walk, Allie tells Jake how the dog comforted her during a breakup. And Jake reveals how Sunshine got him through a Dear John letter. But their exes want them back, and misunderstandings ensue until a 4th of July party where Allie and Jake wind up kissing under a sky lit by fireworks. The future seems secure until Jake is called back into active duty. So
I love these descriptions that are so intense and basically lay out the entire movie for you.
I mean, this sounds exciting. I mean, to be kissing under fireworks? Are you? I don't even know.
So, can I quickly say that? And I'm gonna start every sentence with "Can I quickly say?" But can I quickly say that unfortunately, so when I started looking at this description and saw the retired service dog and Afghanistan, that I began to immediately have flashbacks to a controversial Hallmark film A Veterans Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
And that movie has just placed sort of an indelible mark on my soul. That I have concerns going in. But I like the idea of kissing under a skylight under fireworks. Like I feel like there's going to be less deception in this movie.
Yeah.
And more just loving the service dog and the two coming together. And I think I can support that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if this was, I mean, I don't know if this was an acquisition, but it sounds kind of a little bit against formula.
Right.
Not as much for Christmas movie because they have the movies and mysteries, but this is for the regular Hallmark channel. And I mean, just, it sounds pretty like you've got someone going back into active duty and you have them missing their dogs and breaking up. And I mean, it's quite a Dear John letter. That's a lot of drama for a regular Hallmark channel movie.
Yeah.
And and I can understand that about Veterans Christmas. That one for me, that I liked it, but it was a lot of cornball for me, even for Hallmark. But I
know most people did not have the reaction to it that I did. Like, I see it as the true horror film that Hallmark has produced. And I know that a lot of people didn't, but I saw, like, Service Dog in Afghanistan, and I was like, oh no. But this seems like it'll maybe have, in my heart at least, a more optimistic ending.
What do you think, Georgia?
I mean, I'm going to be the one here to full on defend Veterans Christmas. I loved it. Because you reunite somebody with their dog. I know it was a set up and all that, but I'll just say it. I was sitting there crying because I was like, she got her dog back and that's all she wanted. Oh my God, that's all that mattered. And oh my gosh, my dog came in there and watched it with me and I was just sobbing on her. It was the worst.
Are you sure you weren't crying because the police trapped her on a bus?
I liked it because it was such a serious premise, and then they added so much sort of, like Rachel said, corny stuff and silly stuff, and it's a hard-hitting thing. Like, this is going to be, I love Sean Ferris. I love the two of them together. Come on.
Yeah. There was definitely Hallmark or horror though in that movie for sure.
But I didn't say it, but I was like, it worked to me.
But I didn't hate it. But I see both sides on this one. I'm like right in the middle. But it did have adorable doggies. They were so cute.
And so that's right. This one, they have all this serious stuff about this person got dumped and he's going back into active duty. And I'm like, but the dog's name is Sunshine. Oh my gosh. So I'm sitting here crying at the commercials because they both want this dog. And that means they have to end up together. Because what else are you going to do?
I think we can all come together on the dogs. Because so here's the thing is, like, you could name a bazillion of these Hallmark Christmas movies to me and I would not remember which ones they were or who they starred. You can say A Veterans Christmas. I know everything about it. But I think we can all come together on the dogs being adorable.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
It makes it memorable. It makes you root for them. But this one, Danica's great with everybody. Mark Declan is his dream. So come on. Yeah, it's all summery and it's a good premise. It sounds like it's, like you guys said, it's dramatic and serious.
Yeah.
But the tone of it looks really kind of like, real summery and like a little... not spicy, but you know what I mean.
4th of July, under the fire, kissing under the fire. I mean, that's summer. Yeah. Both of the writers are new to Hallmark, as far as I could see. And so and you got this little bit different director. I just feel like there's a lot of interesting things about this one. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Danica is at her prime when she's just about to well up into tears. She's like, she's like holding it back, and you're like, oh my gosh, stop being mean to her, please. Help.
Half of every movie, though, she's always trying not to cry.
Yeah, and she knows she's a pro. That's her sweet spot.
I don't want her to cry.
That's why she's so good.
Yeah. She is. You're right. You're right. Yeah. She is so good at that.
And every part of this synopsis is just chocked full of those kind of moments. So I think it's gonna be pretty good. And also I have to say Peter Benson is in it, who I love, and Toby Levins. So those are both two really fun supporting actors. So fun. So it's an interesting one. I could see it really bombing, but hopefully it won't. Let's hopefully it won't. So I'm gonna give this one. A gourmet popsicle, like one of the really good ones, fancy ones. So, because I think it is right in the middle. It has big potential, but it could also be terrible. So we'll see.
Yeah, I hate to be someone who is just like, grabbing onto what you said, but I feel like I could also give it like a nice gourmet popsicle, like a basil lemonade sort of thing, because it's like, first of all, Danica McKellar like ups every Hallmark movie.
Yeah,
like you're gonna be sympathetic with her, almost certainly. And I do think there's a lot to deal with here with like the veteran storyline and of course the adorable dog. But I am not quite ready to, up it into the next echelon.
Okay, good. Very good. What about you, Georgia?
Man, you guys, I don't know, because I can't find anything to not like about it so far.
Right.
Go with you. Be strong.
Give it the Sunday.
All right, then. I'm going double Sunday then, you guys.
Good.
I have to. Maybe without like whipped cream and stuff, but it's still a Sunday because I can't find anything to be upset about with it.
Yeah, I hear that.
It looks super good. I don't know.
Yeah. It'll be fun. We're excited.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we have A Taste of Summer. This stars Rosalind Sanchez and Eric Winter. And Eric Winter was in Finding Santa, which is one of my it's not a good movie, but I thought
is that the one where he worked at the toy shop,
where his father runs the Santa school?
Yeah.
And there's like a really Christmassy store that she works in, Jodie Sweetin's character. And I just thought Julie Sherman Wolf's script was so much better than that movie deserved. It was so funny, and I was laughing throughout, and it, I don't know, I just thought it was so impressive. Anyway, so this stars Rosalind Sanchez and Eric Winter, and I'm trying to see if
so they're married.
They're married in real life.
Oh, are they? I didn't realize that.
And so
they said it in the preview.
Oh, I forgot that.
Eric Winter is like actually someone totally different than who I thought he was, but never mind that. But they are apparently they're actually married. So I remember Rosalind Sanchez from a show I used to watch quite a bit called Without a Trace. Yeah, so it was it's like a CBS show, like probably back in the early 2000s. And I liked her quite a bit, but yeah, I was just Googling him to like see who he was, and he is not who I thought he was, but they are indeed married, so that's kind of nice.
That is cute.
He said, yeah. Oh, Eric was my husband in real life, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will be fun. I mean, sometimes it's weird. Like people that are married don't have the best chemistry, oddly enough.
Yeah.
But then others do, and so that's fun.
Right.
So we'll see. That should be fun to watch. And the writer is new to Hallmark. She doesn't have very many credits to her name. Her name's Laura Brienza. And so that's kind of exciting. New talent. We'll see what she can bring to the table with things. So that'll be cool. And so, and one of our very first interviews that we did was with an actress named Hannah Peterson, who's also in this. So that's kind of fun for her. Cool. So a lot of little connections. This is directed by Peter DeLuise, who is practically like the king of Hallmark. Like he has done so many. He's done One Calls the Heart. He's done so many different movies. Some of the best ones he's done. So he kind of had a stinker earlier this year, but we'll forgive him that. We'll forgive him. Still Coming. But
Still Coming wasn't that bad.
No, it was. It wasn't that bad. It was so boring.
I like Lindy Booth. Okay, so it's fine.
I like her too.
It was fine.
No, it was.
It was fine. It wasn't like a standout, but it was fine. Okay.
Acceptable. Agree to disagree.
Acceptable.
But I do love Lindy Booth. Anyway, it was not my favorite. But anyway, so let's read this summary. So
sure.
Sous chef Gabby opens a restaurant and must contend with former high school baseball hero Caleb, the competitive owner of a popular eatery. A star in culinary school, Gabby is undaunted until opening night when her restaurant has few customers due to Caleb's wings promotion. Deciding to enter the Taste of Summer to win $10,000 and stellar reviews, Gabby is stunned when Caleb enters a similar dish, but heartened when he helps after her sous chef burns himself. With the contest winner still unnamed, there's lots of competitiveness in the air. Now it's mixed with a hint of romance.
Ooh.
This is exciting. So this sounds so classic Hallmark.
Yes.
I think that Peter DeLuise will be able to execute this and make it so charming and fun.
Yeah.
And because he can take something like what's it called? The Fall Harvest one with Jesse Hutch, my brain. Harvest Moon. He can take something like Harvest Moon, which on the surface is super cliched, and make it like really charming and really fun. And you got this couple that will probably have good chemistry. It's about
hopefully
a cooking contest. I mean, that's key.
I love a cooking contest. I love sort of any competitive Hallmark movie. Like I think that amps up the chemistry, and also not to get too much into a very Hallmark Christmas mode, but like I feel it sort of elevates like the woman's role in a movie. Like it gives her like a lot more agency. Like she is being like competitive. She's being like sort of the best at what she does. And so I love to see that, like, sort of, like, against whoever the male lead is.
It sounds kind of like Pumpkin Pie Wars, which I love. That one's really fun.
Yeah.
So I think this sounds just really fun. Really good Hallmark. Yeah. What do you think, Georgia?
Oh, no, it sounds like it's very, like, Taste of Romance, which I love. So I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, I love Taste of Romance.
It's so good. He has the diner next door and she has the French food.
Oh yeah.
I just for some reason never get tired of the food ones. They always can do something a little bit different, and like you said, Peter DeLuise is just the best, so I don't see how it can go wrong. They put Eric Winter as a baseball player, which to me is like the ultimate. You can't get any better than that. You're gonna have him out there playing baseball and cooking stuff, and so I'm ready. I don't need anything else.
You going Sunday on this one as well?
I might do like a frozen yogurt sundae, to be honest. I'm not sure. Just because, like you said, when they're married, sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. So hopefully it's great. If it is, I will gladly give them an ice cream sundae. But preview-wise, I'll give it a frozen yogurt sundae.
I'm with you. I think that's what I will give it as well, a frozen yogurt sundae. I think it looks really fun. I'm excited for it. And so that would be fun. What about you, Loree?
I'll give it a legit sundae.
Oh.
But caveat, no toppings. And the only reason is because I think you two are right. Like, you don't know how the chemistry between an actual married couple is going to be conveyed on screen. So, like, I think that the plot is super interesting and it could be, like, really great. But you don't know if it's going to be, like super fun chemistry, or if it's going to be, like, what is, like, probably legitimate, like, chemistry, which is like, oh, we get along really well. So I don't know, but I think it's I love the competition idea. I always love that. I love that when they're giving, like, the lead woman actress, like, they're giving her, like, sort of as much drive and ambition as they're giving the man, and so that's what elevates it to me to Sunday status.
That makes sense. I love it. So the next we have A Summer Romance. This stars Aaron Krakow and Ryan Pavey. And it is directed by David Winning, who, full disclosure, is not my favorite. And he's made so many Hallmark movies that I've disliked. And I feel bad. It seems like it's just, some people just don't fit, Like,
right.
Just not a good fit. And I guess he's just not a good fit for me.
Sure.
Because I do not like the Father Christmas movies at all.
Really?
I really dislike them. Especially the second one made me crazy.
Was that Finding Father Christmas? Was that the second one?
It was the second one. The second
engaging Father Christmas.
With the whole thing of the investigation, and it's like nobody cares about this actor from, like, what? It was too much. I couldn't deal with it. I
kind of loved them for that reason, but I totally understand where you're coming from. I can totally understand where you're coming from.
It took me to a dark place, as I like to say.
That's fair.
The only one of his movies that I've liked is The Mistletoe Promise, which is great.
So good.
But I don't like Tulips in Spring. That movie was a scientific farmer, boring movie. I guess I like Unleashing Mr. Darcy fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was just a bunch. I wasn't a fan of Falling for Vermont. Wasn't a fan of While You Were Dating. Wasn't a fan of December Bride.
Sure.
There was just a bunch. So that's not exciting, particularly for me. But who knows?
Yeah.
And then the writer has done a ton of stuff for Hallmark. His name is Robert Tate Miller, and he wrote let's see here. He wrote Farewell, Mr. Kringle, which I actually think is kind of underrated. I really like that one. And then Christmas Cookies, Love Struck Cafe, Hope at Christmas, which I thought was pretty decent last year, and had Ryan Pavey in it. So, yeah.
Sure.
And so there you go. Anyway, so that's kind of the pedigree for this one. And and most Aaron Krakow is a fan favorite, of course. So there's a summary. Sam Walker, the owner of her family's picturesque ranch in Bighorn, Montana, must decide whether to sell her land to wealthy developers or risk losing it in foreclosure. When New York real estate developer Richard Belmont arrives at the ranch to convince her to sell, he learns some life-changing lessons from Sam about the country lifestyle and the importance of home. Despite the budding romance that develops between them, the pressure on Richard from his colleagues to close the deal grows and threatens to undermine everything he's come to love since arriving in Bighorn. Pretty classic Hallmark, I would say.
This is absolutely a classic Hallmark.
Yeah.
Right here.
Save the farm kind of a thing. We've got the big evil man of business.
Foreclosure is at risk.
Yes. In this movie, we have some fan favorites in the supporting cast. We have Sarah Strange, who's on Garage Sale Mysteries, and we got to interview her. She's a delight. Lucy Guest, who's been in a bunch. Ava Grace Cooper, who's adorable on When Calls the Heart. Jeff Gustafson, who is in the besides the Delivered movies, and Kevin O'Grady, who's also in was also in the Garage Sale Mysteries. So it's a pretty good cast.
Yeah.
I don't know, Georgia, what is your initial thoughts about this one?
You guys, I swear I just fell asleep halfway through the premise. I just, oh God, I'm still honestly just pretty tired of the someone's gonna buy something that means something to you. Find a different way that you're gonna lose the farm or the business or something. Find a different reason than land developers or condos are going to be made. Just something a little different. And also, I'm really sorry. Please, Caroline, do not hate me. I am not an Aaron Krakow fan. Please do not disown me. Please. I don't know what it is. I don't typically like this stuff that she does, and I feel like I'm going to get my Hallmark card taken away. But, like, I love Ryan Paevey. He's great. Aaron Krakow she's great, but just the stuff she's in is not stuff that I ever feel like watching in. And so I'm very much not excited about this one. And I don't want to say it because I don't want to be mean about it. But, like, there's just not really one bit of it that's drawing me in at all.
Hey, you know, it can't be denied that this is a very tired premise. And the only thing that kind of given me hope is that this cast is really stacked, and the clips were pretty cute, I think. I mean, it wasn't really clips, it was like behind the scenes stuff. And they I mean, I'm sure most of these people are having a lot of fun, but it just they seemed like, oh, maybe I think Aaron and Ryan might have chemistry. So, but yeah, I agree, it is a snore of a plot. But
oh, guys, I've got to come back at you on that, though. So here's the thing. I used to be an attorney that represented people who were facing foreclosure. So anytime I see the word foreclosure pop open in a plot, I am very excited. And I know it is a very tired trope for Hallmark, but it's big stakes. You know, you might be losing your home. In this case, you might be losing your ranch.
I think the problem is that there are no stakes, because because people always try to be like, you've got mail. The thing they forget you've got mail is that she lost.
Yeah,
she lost to the store, and she had to learn and grow as a character, and she had to deal with losing the store.
I think that's fair.
And so it's like, I mean, you have no stakes, because you know there's not a chance in heck that these people are going to really lose anything. So it's just
and because whoever shows up there is magically going to love being on a farm in cowboy boots. And sometimes that's not going to happen.
But that's what always. Guys, you have to suspend disbelief for literally every single Hallmark movie.
I know.
But then make it feel a little more magical.
It's not like you're coming into a foreclosure plot and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, like, I guess we're going to have to pretend they might not lose the home here or whatever.
But it's just we've seen it so much, and it'd be nice if we didn't get one every season. But I did appreciate this year, and I really liked the movie True Love Blooms with Sarah Rue and Jordan Bridges. And she actually did lose it just for a brief period. She lost the gardens, and I appreciated that even just for a brief period, like, she actually lost. I was like, wow, they're so brave, these writers.
It's like in Love on a Limb, where she has to either save the tree or save her mom's house. And what does she do? She saves her mom's house.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being, okay, well, now we can figure out a different way. But she gives in because there's something more important. So the thing that was the main mission from the beginning ended up being secondary, and then didn't focus on it and just dig in the whole time. Then they could find a different solution. It was a twist.
Right.
And they need to have twists, and it doesn't look like this one has a twist, but I could be wrong. I hope I am.
I would give this one just an ordinary, like the popsicles you just like slice into two sides, just an ordinary popsicle, and maybe like root beer flavor, nothing fancy. So that's what I'm going to give it. But I just because of the cast, I don't think it's a top of the cone. But yeah, I'm just going to give it a good old popsicle. What about you, Loree?
Well, ladies, I'm giving this a Sunday
Nice.
with all the toppings on it because I love a foreclosure plot. And this would give a different movie, perhaps a more layered movie, an opportunity to really dig into the types of bankruptcy that a person could pursue to
Yeah.
save their ranch. And it might be a chapter 11, it might be a chapter 13, but all I'm saying is so here's the thing, like, I'll just quickly say that when you are looking at fiction, when you are looking on what is televised, it's always like Law and Order. It's always like the criminal law. It's always like this and that, like this very like sort of like sexy, interesting stuff. And when you do get the Hallmark movies, for all the like crap I give the Hallmark movies, they are getting into this other law that like really does affect people.
Yeah.
And that is foreclosure. And so that means in this case, it is a sundae with like some whipped cream, some cherry on top, some magic sprinkles. I am here for it, and I am sure I'll be disappointed, but that is what I'm giving it.
Of all the things I expected from today's podcast, I did not expect you to be defending the Save the Farm storyline. I love it. It's awesome. It totally makes sense. I love it.
Here I am. That's what I'm here for.
If you are available on the 17th, we should have you live tweet, I think.
I would love it. I'll try to make it happen.
All right. We'll do all we can. But that's great. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Georgia, what are you giving it?
You don't even need to ask. This is just straight up top of cone for me.
Top of cone.
I'm sorry. There's just literally nothing drawing me to this movie at all. Not a single word, person, look of it, nothing. There's just... I'll still give it a shot, but I highly doubt I'll make it through the first hour. I just really don't.
You're going to make poor little Ava Grace Cooper, you're just going to make her cry.
It's not her fault.
I know, I'm just kidding.
She ended up in a movie that should have a twist that will probably not. I'll check in half an hour before it ends.
Yeah, let us know.
Okay. Yeah.
There isn't. I stand by my rating.
Very good. I understand. So next we have All Summer Long.
Sure.
This stars Autumn Reeser, Brennan Elliott. It's a new combo together. Of course, they've both done $1 million. This is on the 24th. This is also directed by Peter DeLuise, so he's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is based on a book by Melody Carson, and it is written by the Judith and Sandra Berg team sisters. They are amazing, and they've done a bunch of fun projects in the past. I would love, if you're listening, either of you, we would love to have you both on the podcast because they're great. They have done A Majestic Christmas, which I really liked last year. That was a Save the Theater story that I thought, oh, this is going to be terrible. And then I actually really enjoyed it. Christmas Next Door, which I really liked. Harvest Love, A Dash of Love, Summer Love, Love on the Sidelines, all ones that I personally like. So they are pretty fun. So anyway, that's exciting. And here is the summary. So, hardworking lawyer, your favorite lawyers, hardworking lawyer, yes, and capable sailor, Tia.
He's mediocre.
Capable sailor, Tia, captains a dinner cruiser for the summer, but is upset to learn her ex-boyfriend Jake is the chef. Oh no. On its maiden voyage, the yacht's engine blows and must be towed ashore. Overcoming unkind reviews, Jake and Tia work together to land another booking. Later, while enjoying a meteor shower, they find their relationship sparking as well. But when Tia is offered partnership at her firm, Jake is convinced she'll accept and grows distant. Hurt, Tia sends a paper wish lantern aloft. And if her wish comes true, Jake is in for a surprise. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, there really is. So, Georgia, what is your first thoughts about this?
Jeez Louise. Okay, so first of all, Autumn Reeser is just a gift to us all. I mean,
Yes.
Autumn Reeser. Oh
Yes.
anything she's in is going to be acceptable, at least.
Yeah.
Brendan Elliott's fine. I like Brendan Elliott. I was like on board sort of until the paper lantern bit, and I'm not really happening there. And also until I realized that these are the same people, I'm sorry, who wrote Love on the Sidelines, which is, in my opinion, the worst Hallmark movie ever. I can't deal with it. And so I'm concerned because I love Autumn Reeser so much. I love Peter DeLuise, everything. So I'm torn here. I'm not really sure what to think.
Yeah.
Well, I love Autumn Reeser. She's almost all of hers have been good to great, depending on the movie. Brendan Elliott, he usually makes good movies. I'm usually a fan. He even in his bad movies like Christmas Melody, he's fine. Like he's perfectly, that movie's not bad because of him. He's perfectly fine. So that should be a pretty good combo. I'm actually kind of intrigued by the plot. It sounds kind of bonkers. It sounds kind of weird. Like they're getting like shipwrecked and what?
There is a paper wish lantern.
Yeah.
It's so important it is mentioned in the description.
Well, I think it sounds kind of fun, and Peter DeLuise is really great, and most of the Berg sisters, most of their movies have been amazing. So if I would say give them one break that you did if you didn't like one of them, Georgia, because they've done great.
Okay, but Rachel, to me, what it is most of them for me were like,
really
okay, like I can watch them, but I'm fine if I miss them. And then Love on the Sidelines offends me to my core, and then I just that
because Harvest Love and Dash of Love are both two.
Isn't Harvest Love the one where he makes the hybrid pear apple thing?
That's
come
true.
on.
It does.
What are we talking about here?
They have a whole cobbler montage. I mean, what more do you want in a Hallmark movie?
I can't deal, and I'm so over he assumes that she's going to take this position, so he gets his feelings hurt. Are you not a grown man? Go talk to her.
They're never grown men. Let me just say that. They are never grown men.
They have been so much better about it lately, and that's why this feels like a bit of a come down to me. So I'm excited about that aspect of it, but we'll see.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very intrigued by it. And it'll be interesting to see if they end up having chemistry, the two of them. And it is based on a book, which usually the ones based on books are a little bit better, I feel like. But so I'm going to be optimistic and give this a frozen yogurt. And we'll see where the hardworking lawyer and capable sailor turns out.
Yeah.
What about you, Loree?
Oh boy. So the thing is, like, hardworking lawyer and capable sailor, I'm reading that to immediately mean she's going to leave her life of practicing law behind to be a mediocre sailor.
And I mean, she probably won't become an expert on maritime law or something like that.
No. I mean, this involves a paper wish lantern. So here's the thing: I'm conflicted because if she's a hardworking lawyer and she is being offered partnership, what that means is she probably does a lot of corporate law for some bad guys, and so
that's true.
Part of me is go do the capable sailor thing, but the other part of me is are you just doing the capable sailor thing for the man? Because then on that case, maybe I want you to continue, pursuing law, although maybe seeing the light and doing something else. I'm gonna give it a frozen yogurt, and I'm gonna give it not a tart frozen yogurt. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it kind of a bland frozen yogurt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's not the best frozen yogurt, but I'm so worried she's going. And not that there's anything wrong with being a quote capable sailor, end quote. But I hate to see her
she's
leave
not
all
gonna
her ambition behind.
she's not gonna stand up for the legal profession, probably not.
Yeah, and I can't, I'm trying to imagine myself going into an office one day and saying, look, there was a paper wig lantern involved here. So I've really got to put my 2 weeks notice in.
I think that would be something in your favor for sure.
Sure.
No way.
I've had some pretty, great employers, but it's just, I'm like, there's gotta be sort of a midpoint. So
yeah.
but like you guys have said, that Autumn Reeser is for sure a gift. Like I remember seeing her initially in the OC. Many years ago. So I was a big OC fan, and she came in, and I thought she was delightful, and I liked her quite a bit. And I've liked Brendan Elliott from, I can't remember the name of the movies, but the ones he was doing with Lacey
The All My Heart.
Yeah, the All My Heart, where they like had a different end in every single movie, but it was the same end. So I enjoyed him as well. So I do think it would be an enjoyable film.
Yeah. Georgia, what about you?
I mean, I'm just so confused by everything that's happening, but Autumn Reeser is like everything. Autumn Reeser will make it good. So for her alone, it's going to be not like your first choice or even your second choice, probably like your third favorite frozen yogurt flavor. Sure. Like that's what this is going to be. We're okay. You want frozen yogurt and you go get it. You can't get the ones you were thinking of, but it's good and you're okay with it.
Yeah. It's like the birthday cake flavor.
Yeah. Like all they have is like blueberry, and so you're like,
yeah.
Well, it's still frozen yogurt, so I guess I'm happy,
Sure.
The core of what I wanted. So for Autumn Reeser alone, I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Nothing extra.
So, all right. Very good. I think this is great. Okay, last one. This is the one they'll probably have a bunch more stuff for the preview, so we apologize. But it's My One and Only. The stars Pascal Hutton and Sam Page. Of course, Pascal has done the Perfect Bride movies, which were pretty good. I didn't like the first one, but other people did. And she did the Wedding of Dreams movies. So she's done some movies, but then also, of course, she plays the best character on When Calls the Heart, Rosemary, by far. And then Sam Page, he has a bit of a mixed resume with on Hallmark. I actually thought his last one, The Story of Us, was pretty good. It was kind of a bonkers solution at the end, but it was okay. But I really disliked his Mr. Perfect Christmas Present one.
I like Mr. Christmas. I loved Mr. Christmas, not because he was a good person in it, but because the whole premise was so bonkers.
It was an acquisition, and you could so tell.
Go back and watch Mr. Christmas or whatever it's called, and think about when you're watching what had to come together for Sam Page to pull off the ultimate gift giving experience. He had to go back and he had to really get into these people's lives and mess them up for a bit before he could get to the perfect Christmas present. I love it. Sam Page for everything. Exactly.
It was one of the first times on the podcast that I truly lost it. I was I can't even believe this movie. It was so terrible. And it was a very memorable moment on the podcast because I was just like, this took me to a dark place that I could barely return from. So anyway,
remember it.
There was this
I do remember it. That's true.
There was this one thing, and I can't remember it quite well, but I remember Rob when we were doing the podcast, and it was at the end of the movie where there was a brother and sister, an older, they were older, and something had happened to the sister's dog, and they the brother and sister had not been in contact for a while, but then the brother found the dog and presented the dog to his sister, and they were all of a sudden happy again. But if you think about it, the only way that works out is if Sam Page / Mr. Christmas kidnapped a dog. That is the only way that works out. That is the only way that he gets involved and that he makes it happen. And it's amazing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying here. I haven't seen that movie in 2 years, and I can remember that scene.
And there's like an old man that he does some weird thing too. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Anyway,
sorry.
So poor Sam is going to be in this, my one and only. Delightful Pascal Hutton, who we love, and Sam Page, from all we've heard, is just delightful as well.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the summary that we have. After being passed up for promotion at work and learning of her ex-fiance's approaching nuptials to his best friend, Stephanie reluctantly agrees to be a contestant on the popular reality dating TV show The One. So, arriving on set in gorgeous Wyoming mountains, Stephanie immediately bumps heads with the handsome ranch owner Alex before beginning her courtship with her fellow contestant and supposed perfect match Oliver. Against a backdrop of fun summer dates, in quotation marks for some reason, for which Alex is the guide, Stephanie and Oliver try to determine if they're fated to be together. But while Stephanie and Oliver hit it off, sparks fly between Stephanie and Alex as they challenge one another to face their fears and ask for what they want. Yet the complexities mount as Stephanie questions if Alex has feelings for his best friend, Kelly, and if, like with her ex-fiance, history will repeat itself. With a ticking clock towards the show's grand finale, Stephanie must decide between Alex and Oliver. But who is the one? Like the show.
So I would want Stephanie to choose herself, but I feel like that's not gonna happen.
It's Hallmark.
It's Hallmark.
It's still Hallmark.
So this is directed by Gary Yates, who is a veteran of Hallmark movies. And I don't know anything about any of the supporting cast or anything like that. There's not an IMDb on it. But yeah, he did the One Winter Proposal and One Winter Weekend, which are so good in my opinion.
So good.
He also did Once Upon a Christmas Miracle last year, which was pretty good, I think.
So good.
And
so good.
Yeah. And he directed Snowed in Christmas, which is really good.
Come on.
For a lifetime. So
this guy's just a legend. Come on.
Yeah, he is. But I think it sounds kind of fun. I mean, I'm a little bit. What was the one in spring with the one with the reality TV show?
Oh, Love Take Two or whatever.
Yes, Love Take Two. That one was disappointing.
Yeah.
But at least with this one, they aren't, because Love Take Two, Loree, so you know, Love Take Two was about a reality show where the one guy is going to get married to another person, but then he shows up and his ex is like running the show.
Yeah.
So then sparks fly. But the problem with that storyline is that you spend the entire movie invested in this, or spending the time with this other couple, with him and this other woman, and then they break up and you're supposed to be invested in him and the executive producer. Yeah. And obviously you can't have them like cheating in Hallmark. So you end up just feeling kind of like, why did I watch this breakup movie? That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And so it's like a fundamentally flawed, it's very hard to pull off. There's very few that can.
Yeah.
But, so I mean, I'm a little bit cautious just because that one was disappointing about a reality show. But I don't know. It sounds kind of fun to me. It sounds kind of crazy and weird. And I don't know who is playing the guy that she's matched with on the show, with Oliver, I guess his name is. Let's see. Oh, Stephen Huszar, I think is going to be it. He is handsome.
He's a cutie. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be poor Pascal.
Yeah, wouldn't mind having to choose between Sam Page and Stephen Huszar. Anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I think it sounds kind of weird and fun, and maybe that's why they were waiting, because it was I don't know. They needed a clip of it.
Well, I love Sam Page.
Yeah.
I have liked him. So I first saw Sam Page in Gossip Girl a zillion years ago, and he was great in that. And he's actually been in The Bold Type, which I haven't watched too much of, but he's like sort of the same sort of like attractive character who is sort of like a little bit detached, but is probably a good partner. And so I like him in basically everything I've seen him in. So I'm excited to see him in something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Pascal Hutton really is a delight. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'm going to give it a frozen yogurt. I think it's going to be fun. What about you, Georgia? What do you think?
Oh my gosh, you guys. Pascal Hutton's great. Sam Page, I love. Other guy, Steven, super cute. I'm super excited. I think hopefully they've learned from Love Take Two. It needs to be more fun. It cannot be this super serious movie about a reality show. It's just not going to work. So you have to have it be a little bit more lighthearted. Yeah, the casting I'm just obsessed with because Sam Page is in Annie Claus, which was super cute. I've loved everything Pascal's been in. It sounds a little Princess Diaries 2-ish to me, where she's dating the one, but like it's arranged, and then the other one is the one she's falling in love with. And I love Princess Diaries 2, so I'm stoked. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. There's a girl named Kelly. Anytime you have a character named Kelly, it's like a guaranteed win for some reason. It just always works. So probably, I don't have any clips or anything. I don't have any pictures or anything.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be optimistic and just give it a Sunday because I love all of them. I have no reason not to.
Yeah. Very good. All right, Loree, what do you think?
I will give it a Sunday as well. I think like a Sunday without many toppings, because I'm a little iffy on the plot, but I do love Sam Page, and I think he's great in everything he's in. And I think if I were to sit down and watch it, I would enjoy it immensely, and I would let whatever plot issues I have go.
Very good. All right. That's great. Okay. So now we're real quick, the Aurora Tea Garden. So we have 3 Aurora Tea Garden movies. And Niall Mater was a definite plus. I haven't seen all of these Aurora Tea Garden. I've only seen the ones the last couple of years, but I loved Niall Mater in the ones. He was really fun. But they have 3 coming up, and this is basically they were going to do it, I think, later. I don't know if it was September or October or whatever. They were going to do it later because it was going to be Garage Sale Mystery Month, but obviously Lori Loughlin made sure that wasn't going to happen. And so now we get Aurora Tea Garden, these 3, and then we'll have a Chronicle Mysteries on the Mystery Channel. So what I thought we would do for these 3 is these Aurora Tea Garden, I'd read all 3 of the summaries, and then we decide which one we think will be the best of these 3. Okay, so the first one is called A Game of Cat and Mouse, and it is directed by Mark Jean. They're all 3 written by Tina Booth. And so it's someone begins taunting Aurora Tea Garden with cryptic clues left at crime scenes. So the librarian turned crime buff attempts to figure out who is behind the creepy game, quotation marks. But when the people closest to Aurora become targets, the game takes on a much more dangerous edge as it points to a planned murder. So that's first one, Game of Cat and Mouse. Second one, An Inheritance to Die For, which I can't believe that title is still available. But this is directed by Michael Robinson, and it's a matriarch is poisoned during a family wedding reception, and Aurora Tea Garden vows to get to the bottom of the crime, especially when her mother, a friend of the dead woman, stands to inherit the bulk of the massive estate. So... yeah, it makes it sound like Aurora Tea Garden's mother. So that Mary Lou Henner. So Mary Lou Henner is supposed to get the estate, so they must be accusing her. Yeah. So there we go. Okay. Next is A Very Foul Play, which is another great title. It's directed by Martin Wood, and it's At a gathering of mystery and true crime fans, Aurora Teagarden's nephew, Philip, is accused of murder when an unplanned onstage blackout during the play in which he is performing ends, revealing Philip holding the bloody knife that has just killed one of the other performers. So that's pretty grisly. So, Loree, those three, you've got a game of cat and mouse.
Sure.
You've got An Inheritance to Die For and A Very Foul Play. What would you pick?
I would be probably the most interested in An Inheritance to Die For. I will say I have not seen any of the Aurora Teagarden mysteries.
Yeah.
So I can't really add my interest in how the characters would handle a certain situation to it. But I feel like probably the most exciting is, the last one, the bloody knife. But I feel like we could get into some sort of interesting character development and drama with Inheritance to Die For.
Yeah. What about you, Georgia?
Well, for me personally, first of all, I'm not a fan of the ones when somebody dies at a wedding. I just find that too depressing, too dark, don't do this to me, because then I'm just sad for the whole 2 hours instead of staring. So not the Inheritance to Die For. Cat and Mouse one sounds good. I'll say it, but I think the Very Foul Play one, just because I don't know if you guys watch Monk at all, or I know it's a hot topic among Hallmark people, but we've always watched it, and there's an episode where that happens, where there's a part somebody's supposed to get fake stabbed, and then they supposedly get really stabbed, but then it's a whole thing. So that happens during the play, and it's interesting, but it's one of our favorite episodes. It's really funny.
Yeah.
The only thing that's,
but so probably that one for me.
The only thing that's kind of weird is that they just did, for Mystery 101, they just did a mystery that happens at a play. And then for Picture Perfect Mysteries, they just did a murder that happens at a wedding reception. So it's kind of odd, but
and that's why I knew that the wedding one would be super depressing, because that one really helped me out.
I hear you. Yeah, I vaguely remember her nephew being kind of annoying. So once he was in, and so I'm going to go with An Inheritance to Die For, just because I think that Mary Lou Hammer having maybe the focus be on her could be really fun, and she could have some moments to kind of some juicy scenes, and be fun. So that one, and it seems obviously the most natural of the one. The first one, it seems the biggest stretch for her to become involved in, whereas the other two involve family members, so it's a little more natural. But anyways, the last one is the Chronicle Mysteries, and you were going to be on our podcast when we talked about the Chronicle Mysteries. Did you ever get a chance to watch any of them?
I did, although it's been so
February.
long since they were on that I don't know that I can't remember too much of them. But I will say something I have with the Chronicle Mysteries, and I think some with the sort of mysteries I have in general, I want to love these so much because I'm such a fan of shows like Murder, She Wrote. I loved those shows. I loved them. And I feel first of all, I think Alison Sweeney is fantastic, but I feel they don't go enough into the cheese area. I feel they could be a little more wacky, a little more cheesy. It could be a more of a fun sort of comedic / dramatic watch.
Too much heart.
They sometimes take themselves too seriously. I agree with you that the ones that have a little bit more fun with the whole thing, I enjoy the best, because honestly, they're usually pretty predictable, and so I think they're kind of boring. A lot of people hated the ones with Holly Robinson Pete, because they were ridiculous, but I actually thought they were fun. I enjoyed them.
Oh my gosh, people hated those? Those were way back.
Yeah, I liked them. I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
They were bonkers, and so I liked them.
Plus, we love Red Rocks, but whatever.
So I was disappointed in the Chronicle Mysteries. I thought they had way more potential, and they kind of ended up being pretty generic. I thought.
Right.
I really liked the associate who did the stakeout and was like had all that junk food in the car, and like he was really kind of played by, I can't remember his name. I think maybe it was Drew. I don't know, but he was kind of bonkers and funny. There were some fun moments, but I don't know. I didn't think that they used the podcasting element like in an interesting way at all.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Like it was basically just to introduce the episode, and then she was basically a reporter for the rest of the things. Like she could have gotten like clues, people could have called in, even though true crime podcasts are scripted, but even if you didn't care about that, like they could have evolved in they could have used the podcast in way more interesting ways. And so that was disappointing. But anyway, so this one, the plot this is the latest edition of Alex McPherson's True Crime podcast Recovered, centers on the death of a man whose wife seems certain to be convicted for his murder. As she follows the story on her podcast, Alex, assisted by her colleague Drew Godfrey, becomes convinced that the wife didn't do it, but unless she can identify and locate the killer before the trial reaches its conclusion, an innocent woman will take the fall for a murder she didn't commit. So I think it sounds fine. And I don't know, the one most memorable thing about the Chronicle Mysteries, though, is how they can't have anybody doing anything like really bad, aside from murdering people, but like the whole little like weird fake olive oil underground market thing that they had, like in one of those, it was so ridiculous. What is this? The weirdest underhanded black market thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's like unreal.
It was so funny.
Oh my god.
It was like this sham olive oil like thing. It was underground. Anyway, but I'm just gonna give this one a popsicle. I hope it'll surprise me, but I think it sounds kind of bland.
Yeah, so I would give it a popsicle as well. I feel like Alison Sweeney is just like sorely underused because she is terrific. Yeah. But like, and it's weird that I'm taking more offense to like how the podcast element is used than to how like attorneys are portrayed. Like, having experience with both, because I'm just like, oh, you should like, there's so much more to do with like this podcast as a medium sort of thing, and it could really like add to what you're doing with a mystery. So I don't like have the highest of hopes for, like, I think it would be an enjoyable watch because I think she's a terrific actress. But I can't give it a sundae. I have to give it, like a normal, like a great popsicle, hoping for the best.
Good. All right. Georgia, what do you think?
Well, I feel like it's wrong for me to judge it because I don't watch these. Not really. I'll watch them in pieces. But I'll pretty much just piggyback on you guys and give it a popsicle, I guess, because it seems fine. But I think I have trouble when murder mysteries are more than an hour. 2 hours is just a lot. If they did an hour each week, I'd be a lot happier with it. But 2 hours
makes sense.
Takes a long time if you don't have like a well-developed story and plot and all that. So yeah, that's just my preference.
Yeah, that makes sense. So there you go. We did it. We got through all of them. This
Yay!
is
That
so
was
exciting.
well done, team. Well
Yes.
done.
High five.
Yes. So thank you so much for coming and previewing these movies with us. It's going to be a fun little month of August, so I'm excited. And we will try to have somebody live tweeting for each of these movies. And we'll do our best because we've also got Chesapeake Shores coming up. We've got Good Witch coming up. We have When Hope Calls. This is an exciting time to be a Hallmarkie. And we also have In the Key of Love, which is going to be on Hallmark Movies Now on August 11th. So there's a lot going on, which is exciting. But anyway, we'll do our best to live tweet. But let us know if you're listening what you would give it in the ice cream scale. Let us know. That would be fun on Twitter or in the comment section. And Loree, how can people follow you on social media, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at Loree Stark, LoreeStark, and that's pretty much where you can find me for right now. I'm also on Instagram. I don't use it quite as much as I used to, but it's at LOREE_STARK. And so those are the best places to find me, and I love to hear from people. So please reach out.
Great. And are you guys planning on covering any this summer? I mean, this winter?
Oh gosh,
we
haven't quite reached a conclusion yet. I think we have very much to enjoy our break during the year, and I kind of like being a podcast guest. So
okay, good. Well, we'll definitely
see how it goes. Yeah,
we'll definitely use you for sure, during those weeks. So, all right, Georgia, how can people follow you?
I am on Twitter at Georgia Speech.
Great. And you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, on Rotten Tomatoes, all the fun stuff. Check it out. I would love for you to follow me. And you can make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, at Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you're listening on iTunes, please give us your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate it. And if you're listening on YouTube, please give us thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a patron. We have early exclusive interviews that we offer. We have giveaways on a regular basis of digital codes for movies. We try to make it as fun and have open conversation. Nobody's opinion is wrong in our patron group. So definitely worth becoming a patron, supporting the podcast. And so, yes, considering that, also we have our feedback show. That's a lot of fun. I don't think we're going to be doing it this week, but we'll try to do it next week. But you can call at 801-855-6407, leave a voicemail, or you can email us at feedback@hallmarkiespodcast.com. So lots of fun stuff going on. And so let us know what you think. And thanks so much, girls. I really appreciate it. And we will talk again soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.